Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and in this video, I want to talk to you a little bit about how you can work on the fear of not being accepted, especially as an anxious, preoccupied individual or fearful avoidant who has that strong anxious side who can really struggle with this fear at times. So we're going to cover four main things that you can do and some really important patterns to be aware of. And the thing I always like to start off with when discussing these sorts of topics is whenever we have a fear of something outside of us, it's always representing some sort of wound inside of us at a subconscious level. The reason for this is that if you look at the future is neutral, right? Equal positive or negative things could potentially happen. We really don't know. But what happens is based on our programming, based on our history, our subconscious mind stores all of these events and all these ideas and concepts and imprints. And when we're worried about something in the future, like the impending fear whatever the word is, fear of not being accepted, what it actually does for us at a subconscious level is it brings up these wounds like, oh my goodness, if I haven't been accepted in the past, I project that potential onto my future. If I've been betrayed in the past by somebody, I usually project that fear onto my potential future until I go inside of myself or realize that I have these subconscious imprints and wounds and actually do some reprogramming work. So this sort of brings up the question like, well, what is going on inside of me if I have an external fear of not being accepted? And the big answer to this at a high level, before we go through these four major categories, is for you to deeply fear that outside of yourself, there must be some kind of lacking of self-acceptance at a subconscious level. And it can be in a variety of different forms. It can be because you judge yourself in a variety of harsh ways. It can be that you're quite normal to yourself, but then when you make a mistake, you're really harsh on yourself. And it can sometimes be in these hidden forms in different areas of life. Like maybe you're pretty gentle with yourself in the workplace, but maybe you're still really critical if you make mistakes in a relationship or say the wrong thing or accidentally hurt somebody's feelings, or maybe you really beat yourself up if you are judging your physical body, or, there can be so many different forms that we're not consciously aware of. So the first big theme that I want you to notice here, if you're struggling with fear of not being accepted or fear of rejection outside of yourself, really, is where inside of myself am I in a lack of self-acceptance? Is it through criticism, through self-judgment? Do I have this belief that I'm carrying everywhere that says like, oh, all these people are going to reject me. And so I play out these imagined scenarios about how they'll reject me. And I feel those feelings of rejection accordingly before they may even happen. So really doing an audit to look at, okay, what is this telling me about my internal reality? And this is a really powerful thing to do with anything that we're struggling with, is to see where those things are taking place within us at a subconscious level first. Now, keep in mind, this is not me like blaming you for your fear of struggling with acceptance outside of you. This is me calling attention to the fact that you probably felt a lack of self-acceptance or a lack of acceptance externally from other people in your life as a child because of some sort of painful event or upbringing, or potentially just like experience you had even in your early adult life. And through repetition and emotion over time, we develop these programs. Anything that repeatedly circles and circles, we fire and wire over and over again until it becomes a program, which really means it becomes part of our self-identity at the subconscious core. And so what we're here to do is like learn how to reprogram these things. So one of the first steps, and by the way, if you are fearful avoidant or anxious preoccupied and want to do a deeper dive into like reprogramming in general, you can check out our fearful avoidant reprogramming course or anxious preoccupied reprogramming course. They're courses to help you reprogram your main patterns so you can become secure very quickly and have thriving, lasting relationships. And you can check them out for free for 7 days by clicking the link in the description box below. So we don't have to carry that like past trauma with us into our present and future all the time. And when you go into your dashboard, you can just search anxious reprogramming or fearful avoidant reprogramming. You'll see those courses pop up. You can scope them out there. So basically, one of the very first things is you want to do reprogramming work. And so what we're doing here around the fear of not being accepted is we're firing and wiring an alternate perspective that opposes the original one. So just at a high level, there's many different reprogramming tools. We have a course in PDS as well that has 21 different reprogramming tools for your subconscious mind. But this one is all about you firing and wiring, I am worthy of being accepted, instead of I am rejected, or I will be rejected, or I won't be accepted, right? So you're really looking for like how it's possible and how you will be accepted, or why you are worthy of being accepted. And what you would do here is you would give some pieces of evidence, and you want to do this repetitively for about 21 days or so. And you're going to see that these old neural pathways atrophy over time as new ones really take hold through the more firing and wiring that's taking place. And so you would look for, like, why am I worthy of acceptance in my career? With my friendships, with my family relationships, with my romantic relationships, like what characteristics, traits, qualities, how do I show up? Why am I worthy as a human of acceptance? And you would look for these different pieces of evidence, and you're firing and wiring them repetitively until you create a new output. And what you're going to feel is these old wounds, these old belief patterns equilibrate over time. So that's the first big thing. The second big thing is we want to replace self-judging or critical internal dialogue when we make a mistake with something more accepting. So when we make a mistake, beat ourselves up like crazy, let's try to pause that for a moment, interrupt that old pattern that's happening on autopilot, and let's look at, hey, I'm a human being. Of course I made a mistake. I'm a human. I'm going to make mistakes my entire life. That's part of being a human being. You're not supposed to know everything. So you can look for, okay, why is it okay that I made a mistake? And you can actually, in your internal dialogue, reframe and be like, okay, because I didn't have all the information, or because, I was tired, I was exhausted. It's okay. And be more compassionate towards yourself. I want to be very clear. A lot of people think that when I say this, it means don't take accountability. No, take all the accountability. But do it from a kind, compassionate place. Don't get caught up in beating yourself up and going down that rabbit hole. And then you're stuck in like thinking negatively about yourself, rather than being able to go, okay, hold on, I'm human. I made a mistake. Now, what can I do to rectify that problem or challenge? What can I do to go back and take accountability for the mistake? So that's number 2. Number 3, you can work on just actively encouraging yourself more often. And this can be like through writing down 3 wins per day that you have. This can be through showing up and just acknowledging where you're doing well, what you're proud of for today, how you showed up well in a situation at work, in a friendship, in a potential challenge in your life in some form. You had a flat tire, whatever it might be. Like just looking at how you showed up well, and being a cheerleader for yourself instead of being so down and out on yourself on a regular basis. And our last major point here is to actually take the time to understand your needs and show up to support yourself in them. When we deny our needs, it's like the ultimate form of lack of self-acceptance. It's like if I have a need, for example, for emotional connection or for personal growth, and these things are super important to me, and I try to just like shove them away and be like, oh no, that's not, appropriate. My family wouldn't accept that, or my friends would judge me. And I shove that part of myself away. That's like the most unaccepting thing we can do in the relationship to ourselves. So we have to make room for the things at a subconscious level that we love, that we need, that are important to us. And if you don't know your needs, take the time to figure them out so you can support yourself in them. You can come up with supportive strategies for yourself. Again, if you want another resource, because I can't go into everything in this video, we have a Discover, Embrace, and Fulfill Your Personal Needs course. You can check that out for free for 7 days too. And if you want to sign up and actually go into the school, you can also use the coupon code with you for 25% off also. So anyways, check all this stuff out. It's really, really valuable to work on like our lack of self-acceptance, because it makes us feel safer around others, makes us feel more connected to other people, makes us feel safer and more comfortable in our own skin on a daily basis, and dramatically improves our self-esteem and ability to connect. So really, really valuable to work through. I hope this makes sense. Thank you so much for watching and for being here. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video.